And I suppose my final pitch before I turn it over to Howard is, if you are wanting to be an active part of the learning community and you're interested in the $550 stipend for being part, you got to make sure you watch any of the videos of the previous learnings that you haven't done. I really encourage you, if you've got like people in this community that you could do it together. I know that like a bunch of staff at Wisconsin Youth Company at Elver Park are all watching them once a month. I know Goodman did that. So that's a really great way. I know Middleton did that. Great way to like get the points, and also be able to like talk about it when you're watching. So, and I'd even be happy to watch again with you if you're like, I just want to watch Buddy so then I can talk to someone about it. So all different ideas. All right, so I'm going to turn it over. Oh, well, I should pause. Question?
Quick question. For all of those previous videos, is there one spot that we can find all of them?
Sadly, I am not that technologically advanced. So no, but I will, after this one, send an email to the whole learning community with those. And all those is really just 2 so far. So it's not that much, 2 hours. Well, probably 3 hours because it's an hour and a half each. Yeah. So I'll get those out to you. And yeah, and there's both recordings and there's slide decks along with them. Okay.
And then do you want us to document that somehow?
Oh yeah. What I'm just asking is people to send me an email. Shoot me an email if at the end of all of them and within there's some questions to ponder. So the email can be, I watched it and here's something that came up for me. Give me a little juice that just like kind of, and lets you like ruminate about it in writing. Okay. Anybody else? And certainly if you do some watching as a group, let's say Colleen, like I think like 4 of your coworkers are signed up in this community and haven't been able to make it. If you guys get together, one person sending an email with a couple of notes about who came and then the conversations you had is great. That gets everybody in the mix if they're interested. Okay. All right. This is Howard Hayes. He's our presenter. He's an awesome man who I've known for many years. I know many of you as well have. He's been with the Goodman Community Center for, he'll tell you how long. I feel like he has inspired so many young men and women over the course of his time. And I know I'm going to be inspired by today. So I can't wait. Take it away, Howard.
Thank you. Let me see here. Do you have it where I can share my screen?
Oh, I probably don't.
Let's go ahead. My name is Howard Hayes. Let me see here. I've been working at Goodman for about 23 years. The way that I actually came into this work, it's funny, it's through Susan and a woman by the name of Cheryl Moss, who they did a training, what was it, 2004, and it was around how men could be more part of the solution when it comes to sexual assault and rape and domestic violence. And it was a 3-day workshop. I really enjoyed the workshop, really learned a lot, and got approached by them to delve into this work more. And so the original work that I was doing is talking to young men about sexual assault and domestic violence. And then as I moved along and realized the part that young men play in being a part of the solution as well as part of the problem, allowed me to delve more into myself, delve more into who I want to be, more into how I want to become a better person, because I can't be where I'm at without role modeling that behavior that I want to see. So it's really interesting because as I saw more about SEL and the part that it plays in the work that I do, I'm sure like a lot of you, you probably look at it and go, I already do a lot of this stuff. How do I now use it as an opportunity to apply it? I think that one of the challenges that we will see coming along is how do we document someone's emotions, right? How do we document the SEL part as being a part of what we do, as well as something that maybe some other people don't value and you have to bring them along too. So just out of curiosity, as we move along, since I do a specific boys group, when we think about me doing MASCK, and MASCK actually is an acronym. It stands for Men Always Seeking Change and Knowledge. Doing a boys group, why would we actually break up, a group into a boys group, or a group into a boys group, or a group into a gender specific group? Is there anybody who has any ideas of why we do that in the first place? And it's kind of hard for me to see. So if you can, throw it out there. Okay, I can't necessarily see anybody on the screen. Okay, well, I mean,
Do you want to stop your share a second so you can see some people?
Oh,
And do you also want to, yeah.
That's okay. That's important. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
That's what I wanted. Okay. Anybody would have any suggestions why you do gender specific groups?
I think two big contributing factors are toxic masculinity, and also the data surrounding how many men are typically connected to sexual assault.
Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Anybody else?
I can chime in. My name is Puhua. I'm the Girls Inc. program manager. If I just sat here and didn't say anything, I'd probably be mad at myself later. But with gender-specific programming, it's so important because it's creating that safe space where boys can talk about problems that shared problems that they have. Because I think about all that I learned about Girls Inc. programming and how it's so important for us to have that space where girls can talk about how their bodies are changing, and they can't necessarily talk about like having their period when there's boys around, and creating that space for gender specific programming, boys group, girls group, it's giving them a space where they can feel very comfortable with themselves and talking to their peers about, really, again, like common issues that they're facing in their everyday life.
Anybody else? I think both of y'all hit it exactly. I think there are some things that we split into groups through because those are the lens that we can see things through. And so me doing my group, I think it's important to be able to speak through that lens. And so the reason why I chose the term or why I did this workshop around identity, because whether you do Girls Inc., whether you do boys group, whether you do gender non-binary group, I think it's really important to have those spaces for them to have folks that identify with them and affirm who they are in those groups. We're gonna go into an icebreaker. So let's go around real quick, say our names, and say your name and say something that you believe that is contrary to popular belief. My example would be being vulnerable. I specifically grew up with a father who was in the military and definitely saw seeing being vulnerable as being weak. The more and more that I went through my life. I think that's one of those specific things that I learned working with young men was the more vulnerable you can be, the stronger you actually become, because the more you start to know about yourself, the more of the masculine standard that you break through, and also the more of a better human being, man, father, if you choose, person you become. And so I am going to pass it to, let's see here, John, your name and something that you believe that is contrary to popular belief.
Can we also hear where people are doing their social emotional learning work? Thank you, sorry.
Yeah, I'm John. I'm the past core member at Meadowood Neighborhood Center. I was still thinking about this a bit when I was like I don't have anything quite as like deep as that, I guess, but something I was thinking about is like contrary to popular belief, like I don't think like one smartphone is better than the other. Like I've used both iPhones and Androids, and they're both like really like I find myself missing features on both, like whenever I switch between them. So that's not quite as deep as that, I guess, but it's something kind of contrary to popular belief. And I'll pass it to Vanessa.
Oof, yeah. That one's a hard one. Contrary beliefs. I can't think of anything. Oh, first, hi everybody. My name is Vanessa. I am the past AmeriCorps member at Goodman Community Center. And yeah, that one's a hard one, Howard. I'm not ready. Can y'all come back to me in a bit?
Yes, and I will have to admit, like my answer was very strong. It's really great because I used this question and I tested it out on Ben the other day at our staff meeting. And hopefully it doesn't come like I'm asking y'all to delve. Maybe we can go, maybe we'll go from Vanessa, Ben, because Ben has already thought about it and I've already asked. You can go ahead. We'll go from there and pass on to.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ben. I am a CLC coordinator at Goodman. So yeah, Howard did give me this question last week, and instantly my answer to it is that a hot dog is a sandwich. And I will argue to death on in that one. Next up, Hillary.
Yeah, so my name is Hillary, and I'm also a past AmeriCorps member at the Middleton Youth Center. I guess, Ben, since you kind of did a funny one, I guess that made me want to do a slightly more funny one. I guess contrary to popular belief, the word soda should be used more than the word pop. And then I will pass it on to Bonnie.
Thanks, Hillary. That is contrary because I would probably say pop. My name is Bonnie. I work for the Past AmeriCorps program, so it's great to see some familiar faces. Our members are on the call today. And contrary to popular belief, below zero is not too cold to go snowshoeing. And I will pass it to Colleen.
Thank you, Bonnie. Hi, everyone. I'm Colleen Hayes. I work at Whitehorse Middle School. I'm the MSCR and Urban League dual coordinator there. And contrary to popular belief, because I'm on this call with Howard, I will say that pineapple does belong on pizza. Let's see. I will pass to, because I want to know if I'm saying it correctly, Ayana. Okay, hi Ayana, I'll pass to you.
Yeah, I normally say Ayana, but Ayana's fine. Either or is fine. I'm Ayana. I am the middle and high school program coordinator at Bayview Foundation. Something that's contrary to popular belief. I was trying to think of something a little deeper, but the first thing that came to mind is Sprite is better than Sierra Mist. I'm like a huge like Coke product fan, so yeah. I will pass it along to Susan.
Hey y'all, so I'm Susan. I said who I was. Prior to, or in addition to my SCL consultant stuff, I also hang out at the Lucier Community Education Center. I used to work there for a number of years, and now I'm doing a lot of volunteer work with them. And so that's where I get to connect with young people and think about SEL. And the thing that came to my mind was like the way people dress. You know, I feel like there's some things that are norms, like you're going to dress up to go on an interview, but you're going to dress differently if you're going to go to out with your friends. But then also there's like, you can make all these different choices within that. And yet there's still like, oh, but this is what goth looks like. And this is what, you know, hip hop looks like. And, you know, and so there's both norms and who you are and how you want to express. And then I also think about how like, and there used to be really stringent norms, like women used to not be allowed to wear pants. Like in my mom's lifetime, right? Crazy, yes. Sorry. So, and I'm going to call on Ian.
Hi, I'm Ian. I'm the Paso AmeriCorps member at La Follette High School. I guess I think cilantro is bad, and there's always things I think look delicious, and then I see that cilantro's on it. And yeah, I'll pass it to Alejandra.
That was probably the most shocking one for me at this point. But I don't know what to say. Oh, I thought of two things. One, I think people are rude if they say you're basic. Because people can just like things. And if everyone likes it, that's okay too. You don't have to be unique in what you like. That's okay. I just think about, like, I really like Ugg boots. And people are like, that's a little basic, Alejandra. Like, you have a couple. And it's like, yeah, they're really comfortable. Thank you. And then the deeper thing than that, I always tell people that my partner Larry makes all of our dinners, and maybe once a week I make dinner, and everyone's like, you're not ashamed of that? Or they'll be like, you really can't. And it's like, if I said I did all the cooking, everyone'd be like, oh, okay. And they wouldn't think twice about Larry not cooking. So I don't feel bad at all. I love to just come home and eat dinner, and he loves to cook. So that works for us. That's my one time, my deeper thing where I'm like, I'm not going to be I'm unapologetically a bad cook. And there's some things I can do really great, but I'm not, just because I'm a woman, focused on not, you know, I can't cook. So,
Alejandra, did you say where you work?
No, I didn't. My name is Alejandra. I'm the assistant director of youth programs at the Goodman Community Center. And yeah, so I'll pass it to Nate.
Great, and sorry, I'm joining a little bit late and frantically, but it sounds like is something that is our name, where we work, and then what's contrary to something we have that's contrary to popular belief.
Exactly.
So Nate Shore. I am the community programs manager at the Bayview Foundation. And sorry if I'm repeating one that someone has already said, or if this is complete, but I honestly just, for some reason, it has bothered me ever since I was a little kid, but I honestly just do not think that chocolate tastes good. I just generally I'm not, like, for some reason, everyone is always, I growing up, all my friends have always been like, oh my gosh, it's just like, sometimes I just have like huge cravings for chocolate. I for my whole life, I honestly just think it tastes bad. So.
You want to call on someone else, Nate?
Yeah, sorry, and I don't know who's already been called on.
I can go next. My name is Puhu. I'm the Girls Inc. program manager at Goodman. So I'm glad that I went like 8th or 9th because I couldn't think of anything. And then once Nate brought up the chocolate, I was like, I hate peanut butter. I can't stand it. And when I tell people, they think I'm crazy. I hate the texture of it. It's goopy and gross. So like anything with peanut butter, I'm like, you can give that to my husband. You know, like give it to someone else. Give it to my dog. I don't want it. Let me see. Who hasn't gone yet? Tori?
Tari, thank you, Paul. Tari Robinson, the Center Director at the MSCR Meadowwood Neighborhood Center. I've been here for about 3 years. Prior to that, I worked at East High School in La Follette coordinating after-school programs. And contrary to popular belief, I think I forgot what I was going to say already. That's bad. Geez, it was right there too. Contrary to popular belief. Oh, I don't know. Someone else is going to have to go. It just slipped my brain that fast. Real fast. Oh, here it is. I'm a DJ. So contrary to popular belief, vinyl is and will make a comeback. It's coming back. Never left. And I'm going to pass it to who hasn't went yet. Is it Rachel?
No, it's Rita, actually. I'll
Rita?
have to change that on there.
I was like, okay, do I have to scramble the words?
That would be fun. Just, you got to guess. My name is Rita. I work with Wisconsin Youth Company as a middle school program coordinator. And something that I think is contrary to popular belief is that yoga is not, nor will it ever be, relaxing. Bonnie, did you go?
I did go.
Oops, sorry.
I believe,
Hillary,
and I just want to make sure. Vanessa, have you gone?
I didn't get
Vanessa
to share my contrary belief because I couldn't think of one, but I think I have thought of one, that I prefer to hand wash my dishes instead of using a dishwasher. Always hand wash instead of dishwash. I just don't trust dishwashers. I don't know if anybody's ever thought of that, but yeah.
Synovia, did you get to go yet?
No, I haven't gone yet. I'm Synovia Knox, and I'm the Arts and Media Director at MSCR Meadowwood. And contrary to popular belief, I really like Geminis. I feel like they get a bad rep, you know, when you hear about them. But 2 of my best friends are Geminis. I'm personally not one, but I like them. I think they're reasonable people and we should try to get along. Is there anyone else who has yet to go?
Yes, I haven't gone yet. My name is Elena Smith. I am the dual coordinator with the Urban League and MSCR at Blackhawk Middle School. I apologize that my camera's not on today, but I am here present listening and appreciate your flexibility. And I could not think of one, but I think one thing that people who know me really well would say that I eat a lot of like cookies. And I think cookies are a great breakfast food. Like, I think they're very delicious. They have a lot of calories to get you through the morning. They're really good with coffee and milk, which are also breakfast like beverages. So I would say cookies also can be included in like a breakfast pastry.
Thank you. Has everybody had the opportunity to go? I think that's everybody. Thank you very much for participating. Y'all had some great answers. There's a couple things that I could really like jump on. And I know Colleen, you intentionally did that little pineapple thing because she already knows how I feel. But anyways, the main reason why I did that icebreaker is because usually when we work with kids, I think specifically around ESL, SEL, that we ask them to step outside of their comfort zone and maybe as well as express who they are. So individually, we try to use this as an opportunity to do the same. The main part that I wanted y'all to, at least if you get a chance to look at, is, let me see here, is this, has anybody got a chance to look at this specific diagram? The main reason why I want to pull this up is because when you look at this diagram, do you look at this diagram from the outside in, from the inside out? When you think about how you do your work, do you use this diagram? Do you work with communities, families, schools, classrooms, and then you bring it to yourself, self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness, social emotional learning? Or would you say that you do social emotional learning at the center and then you use it as a way to work with others? I'm just curious. So when you see that diagram, which way do you see it? Any input on that? And hopefully we see it as the ESL that is very us-centered. I think the main part that I want to be able to see when it comes to social emotional learning is the part that I play. I talk about this specific workshop around identity because if you don't know the part that you play when you walk into a room of youth, adults, family, community members, it's hard for you to kind of help them decipher and work their way through it. So it's important for you whenever you're stepping into, whether it's a community space, whether it's a school space, whatever space you choose to walk into, that you have an understanding of the part that you play in that space. And so one of the things that I want to do as a little activity, does everybody have a piece of paper and a pen around them? If you have the opportunity, I wanted to go ahead and say this at the beginning for people to kind of reach and see what's around them. It doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be anything like elaborate. It doesn't have to be. It could be a piece of paper that already has stuff written on it. But in the middle of that piece of paper, if you can you draw? Can you just draw a circle? And in the middle of that circle, I'm going to give you some instructions of what the activity is. But when we think about identity and what we write on the outside, there's just two things that I want you to keep in mind. That true identity is what exists within one own's true heart and seen by another. And I really love that saying because we're not necessarily talking about something that we see. I think we think about identity, and I see someone and I say, that's a boy, that's a girl, that's someone who is Black, someone who is white, someone who is Latina, and we talk about all these things that are seen, but true identity, in my opinion, and I love this saying, is because there's a part of this that are things that we don't see. And we need to take those things just as much into account, if not more, when we're talking about seeing someone's true self. Second part, you are not defined by what we see. You are also defined by things we will never see. We all are. And also, when we do this activity, think about those two sayings as we move forward. So in that, you draw that circle, and inside that circle, I want you to put your name and preferred pronouns. And then outside of the circle, and here's like a little example. You just write the circle, and you can, outside of the circle, things you identify as part of your culture. And what I mean is, on this piece of paper, I'm a big fan of hip hop, so you can say hip hop. Also, I'm Black. And some people may want to use the term African American. Some people want to use the term of color, So on the outside, I'm going to give y'all maybe, we'll start off with 2 minutes. And then if you need more time, we'll add on more time. So I'm going to set my clock for 2 minutes and try to write down as many things as you can. Everybody's good? Okay. And if we can, let's go around. And I think it's important for people when they're doing this exercise to claim and own who they are. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go around and have people say who they are by all the things that they say or all the things that they wrote down. I would like for you to start off by saying, I am. So for me, when I read off of the things that I put down, I would say, I am hip hop. I am Black, and then so on and so forth. So if you can, read off your list. And for all those who are not reading, I ask to give that individual who is reading your attention, as well as not ask any questions, because we want them to be able to own who they are, and it just be at that, okay? We'll start with Bonnie, and then you can pass it on to the next person.
Okay, really on the spot here. Just take it off the cuff. I am woman, I am white, I am rural, I am faith, I am science, I am education, I am nature, I am farming. And I will pass it to Vanessa.
Sure. Okay. So I am first generation. I am a daughter of immigrants. I am dancing. I am family. I am Sateñas. I am woman, and I am community. I will pass it on to Ben.
Okay, so I am male. I am perseverance. I am Black. I am hip hop. I am athletics. I'm soul food. I'm luck. I'll pass off to Nate.
You said Nate, right? Okay, perfect. So I'm Nate, and I am white. I am liberal. I am education. I am family. I am community, and I am anxiety. I'm going to pass it off to Synovia.
I am academia. I am millennial. I am Black, or African American, because I identify with both. I am hip hop. I'm woman. I am pop culture, and I am Black art. Oh, and can I pass it to Ayana?
Sure. So I brought a lot, so bear with me. So I am Black, I am woman, I am a Black creative, I am a plant mom, I'm a new plant mom. I am a curriculum designer, I am a Black feminist, I am a youth worker, I am natural hair, I am a graphic designer, I am, oh, that was it. Wait, no, I am R&B. Okay, never mind, that's it. I didn't have as much as I thought. I will pass it along to Colleen.
Thanks, Ayana. Okay, what do I have here? I am a white woman. I am a community volunteer. I am an advocate for kids. I am family. I'm a Catholic schoolgirl of 13 years, and I am a cancer survivor. And I will pass to Tari.
Thank you, Colleen. All right, I had to narrow this down. I got a lot on here too. So I am Tari. I am Black. I am an alchemist. I am masculinity. I am femininity. I am family. I am music. I am a DJ. I am Native. I am Aboriginal. I am Black. I am blended family. I am freedom, spirit. I am breath. I am one. And I'm going to pass it to, let's see, Rita. Did you go yet? I messed up your name last time, so I had to make up.
Yeah, I changed it on there for you
Thanks
guys.
for fixing that.
Yeah, bear with me as well. I wrote a ton. My name is Rita, she, her, hers. I am fat, I am gay, I'm white, I am a millennial, I am an educator, I am a sister, I am a daughter, I am grief, I am a Wisconsinite, I am an expat, I am poor, I am a leftist, I am well-read, I am a feminist, I'm artistic, I am outdoorsy, I am indie folk, I am resilient, I am a nurturer, I am a woman, I am a cook, I am depressed, I am minimalist, I am grief. Synovia, have you gone?
I can go next. Just to make it easier. So I am a daughter of refugees. I'm first generation Asian American. I'm family oriented. I am a mentor. I am women empowerment, and I am what many would consider unconventional Hmong woman. Alejandra, I'm gonna call you out.
Hi everyone. So I am Mexican, I am first generation, I am dancing, I am rap, I am reading, I am a daughter, I am healing, I am a talker / storyteller. I feel like I talk a lot. And that's all I put. Am I the last one or did Ian go?
I haven't gone.
Okay, awesome. Then go Ian.
I am white, I am straight, I'm an educator, I'm a writer, I'm basketball, I am American, I'm a geek, I am a dog and cat owner, I am a leftist. And John, have you gone?
I haven't. I am John. I am concerts. I am Norway. I am white. I am band. I am marching band. I am Janesville, Wisconsin, and I am only child. And has Hillary gone? Or
No, I have not gone. So I'm Hillary. I am Chinese. I'm an educator. I'm adopted. I'm a woman. I'm reading. And I'm family oriented. I don't know if Elena has gone.
I have not. Thank you. I am information seeker. I am femme. I am support. I am sharing. I am family. I am giving. I am caring. I am goofy. I am fun. I am empathic. I am listener. And I am mover / dancer. And Susan, have you gone?
All right. I am woman with a Y. I am mom. I am New Yorker. I am gardener, crafter. I'm friend, sister. I'm traveler. I'm white. I'm trying to be anti-racist. I'm Italian. And I think I might have been the last. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Just out of curiosity, how did that feel? Any input on how people felt reading, or even on the other side, how do people feel listening?
For me, I felt like kind of like the process before we shared, it was, I don't want to say it was a lot for me to think about, but I really had to think about all the things that kind of make me me, or things that really are of interest to me, or things that I identify with. And then kind of like once I got going, like after the first couple of words, I was like, okay, and I was able to keep flowing. But I think like getting the first couple words out was a little hard. Also, Rita put it was scary to share, and I agree. It was a little scary to share, but I think it was cool to hear everybody's experiences and see like what we have in common as well.
Thank you.
I also felt that it was really hard to come up with the first one because it really felt, it's like, I want to get it right and I don't want to be reduced to one thing. And then they wrote one, I was like, well, then I have to say this. Well, then if I say this, then I have to say this. And so then it took me, I bet for the first whole minute of it, I took thinking of the first word, and then the other ones came a lot quicker after that.
I really enjoy doing this exercise because I think it gives us just a little bit of insight of perhaps when you work with, and I specifically work with middle school boys, but I also work with high school boys within Goodman, the things that they think about as they maneuver through like their hallways and through, I think a lot of this stuff is their inner chatter of how they see themselves. And I think a lot of times when I do this exercise with them, sure, it's hard to put yourself out there, but then at the same time, when you hear someone say something that is the same as yours, it starts to become affirming. So I think that is one of the things that they start to go back and forth with, is like, what did I put myself out there? Second thing, I think a lot of stuff that you will see them do is talk about the things that you physically see. And then as they open up, they start to talk about those things that that you can't see. And it's interesting because I've done this multiple times, and I think it's really great to see how it progresses as you do it throughout the year. Some people, I've had youth who asked, hey, can we do that again? There were things that I forgot. And I was like, but we did that 3 months ago, and they were still thinking about it. They were still thinking about, since then, I've become, I've become something different, right? If you have that piece of paper, there's a second part to this exercise. The next question that I will ask is, let's extend ourselves a little bit farther and then go into same thing, is what do you hope to be one day? So this is who you are. And then if you can, this should take a little bit less time. So we'll go 1 minute with this one. And maybe one day what you aspire or you hope to be. And also, one of the things that we start to do is, how many at your organization do SMART goals with the youth as part of your organization or your program? One of the things that we do at Goodman is SMART goals. And when it comes time to do SMART goals, or even if you do something that asks the kids, like, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? Where do you want to be? I know for me, it's a really hard thing to do because a lot of the middle schoolers will be like, I don't know. Like, so after this, what do you want to do? I say, I don't know. Or they'll be like, I don't know, play basketball. I don't know. And you don't get a really strong, like, affirming answer that they are convicted in. I think this is another way that you can kind of draw from that and be able to refer back to as something that they dream or they hope or they aspire to be. A lot of times I won't have them read this out, because that's something that, even though the first part is personal, this is the next part, or the next step that they would see as something that they're working towards. And what we do, at least what I do after this, is just kind of applaud the courage, applaud the strength that it really took, because I'm the first one to admit that this is a challenging exercise. The more you extend yourself, the more that you start to understand yourself. So let's move on to, this is something that I use specifically with my boys group to give them a deeper understanding of who they are and the part that they play in the world. I think it's important when we show these, when I show these pictures, that we also understand two things: the things we see and the things we don't see, and how those two can also play a part in how the world sees you. So don't use what the public sees as the end all be all. You be firm on who you are. So let me see. So this would be an example of an image that we would use. I'm sure some people have seen the genderbread person, and they've also seen the unicorn. This is something that I would use specifically for probably middle school, more so than high school. And the part that I emphasize is sure, there is gender identity and there's biological sex, which are the things that we see. But I think gender expression is something that as society, we don't see very much value in. And the main reason why I'll say that is because there's something that I've been thinking about. I've been doing this workshop. I've been doing multiple exercises in this workshop. And one of the things that I came across while doing this workshop that I thought like actually really moved me. We talk about 3 dimensions. Does anybody know what we mean by 3 dimensions? Just out of curiosity. So when we talk about dimensions, we talk about up, down, right? We talk about left to right, and we talk about back to forward. But when people talk about a 4th dimension, which they consider like a more spiritual, more deeper understanding of consciousness, they talk about inside out. And that's something that society considers something that we don't see, right? Because it comes from within someone and they show it, whether it's like a ray of light or who they are in a more conscious sense. And when I thought about that and I heard people talk about that, I think that's the perfect example of gender expression. I think gender expression starts to show a higher consciousness of who an individual knows, because society doesn't seem to see value in it, but it is who you are in your core, right? Then this would be an example of what you would see in I think a diagram that you would show for more high schoolers. It starts to, I think, visually more complex, but also gives a better understanding and a richer conversation of how gender identity and biological gender works. This would be, I think, maybe for a higher level high school, more for a college student, a diagram that you would use. I think that specifically with the young men that I work with, this is where I will personally completely admit where I extend myself, because I'm still trying to learn how gender and gender fluidity works, how non-binary folks, how that plays a bigger part in working with young men around masculinity. And so when we have conversations, this is the time that I would maybe bring someone else in or do more reading or more understanding around that. Because when I say I work with young men, they say, what are you usually talking about? And we do talk about masculinity, but we only talk about masculinity through a specific lens of being male, and I would love to be able to talk about gender and sexual identity more as a part of that. So that's where I would completely admit my lack of understanding, but my ability to definitely grow. So the next activity that I have is one of the first activities that I do with my group. It's an activity that I really enjoy. And so I think society sees men in a certain way. Men value certain things in a specific way. This is an activity that I would do with the young men after kind of describing what the group is, why we're here. And this is an example of how society deems value and men, right? So this is the question, and y'all can just popcorn and throw it out. I'm going to show y'all an image, and I would like for y'all to be able to answer the question, why does society deem them a real man? Why society deems them a real man or sees value in them as a real man. Got it? Why does society deem Bob Marley as a real man?
I would say for the amount of kids that he has, I know he has a lot of kids. I would say they view him as a man particularly because of his hair and how his hair looks, his facial hair, like his outward appearance. But those would be like the three main things I would say.
Okay. Thank you.
My cat wants to say, I don't know if you just saw that, that he's successful. You know, he made lots of money.
Yeah.
His appeal to a lot of women and men.
Okay.
I think when we talk about like rock star lifestyles, the like sex, money, and drugs, like he smoked a lot of weed. He talked about that openly. That's kind of like what he became a symbol for. And so having the resources to have all those things and showcase them.
Okay. Why would society deem this guy?
I also
Goodman?
thought of. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were still on Bob
No,
Marley,
no,
but
go
I
ahead.
suppose I can comment on this one. Okay. Well, I think because he was smart, especially in STEM topics, with it, which is like a predominantly male-dominated area, I would say.
Okay.
The way that he was able to succeed despite his failings in the school system.
Also with the picture, like the way he's dressed, he has a tie on and a suit.
Okay. How about this guy? Anybody know who this guy is?
I would definitely say people view him as masculine or as a male, particularly because of the sports. He plays basketball and he's won a lot of championships. So I think that probably would be like the main one. And his like physical, what do you call it? Like his muscles and like, you know, his basketball. So I would probably say those two.
Okay. Oh, dang, I went to. Well, we might as well. How about this guy?
Cash.
Does anybody know who this guy is?
Just money, not success, but straight money.
Huh?
It's not basically because of his success, just because of the money that he has, even if it was given to him.
Okay.
Yeah, he had enough money to cover his lies because he was not successful and he paid people just to be around him.
I would also
Me-
say, oh, sorry. I would also say because he says whatever he wants to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because he's a bully.
Because he's a bully. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Flexes his muscles all the time. Well, what muscles he thinks.
I was gonna say uncompromising. You know, like he just is unwilling to compromise with anyone else, which is perceived as super male.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this picture's photoshopped to make him look better. So he was very vain. He perpetuated a lot of societal standards.
Really? How can you tell? Just out of curiosity, how can you tell it's Photoshop? I didn't know that it was Photoshop. I was
No,
just like,
I saw an article about it that he had like his neck photoshopped.
okay. I just picked it because I was like, I don't want to seem impartial. This is the most flattering picture I could find. So I was like, I'm gonna pick a, so it doesn't seem like, because all the other ones were not the most flattering. So I didn't know that he had this one Photoshop.
His willingness to incite violence.
Willingness to incite violence. No, and the only reason why I'll ask this is because do you think that's a quality that men value, or that society, I should say, that society values?
It's linked to hypermasculinity.
Yeah, it is. And I would even say, if you been paying attention to what's going on lately, I can't really disagree with that. Something that society, you can't say that's something that society doesn't value, especially considering the amount of uproar and upheaval that, as you see right now, there's he's being taken to court over being able to, get folks, incited over violence, so it's interesting. What about this guy? Who is it? Can y'all hear me? Just want to make sure. MLK, why would people consider him a real man?
Because he died fighting for what he believed in.
Okay.
I think he's such a great public speaker and passionate and really well presented. He's conventionally attractive too. And I think you could tell how passionate he was as a person and spoke to people and acknowledged them.
To also go off of that, he was also a pastor. So that's aligned directly with like masculine or being male. I know specifically like in the Catholic Church, the majority of, not even the majority, all of the priests or bishops or whatever, like they're all male.
Yeah. And it's only pretty recently where in the South, and I know this because I'm originally from Georgia, and still in a lot of churches, women don't hold very high positions within the church. And so I would say he's someone that's very much so valued. And actually the person who is now at Ebenezer Baptist Church is now a senator. So that shows also right there how much we value the position that Martin Luther King is, or preachers in the church.
One of those, I feel like the past two are a good example of this. It's like both of them, I mean, for better or for worse, obviously are like quintessential leaders, right? Or people that people perceive as leaders of something, which is something that is incredibly valued in men, but, is very clearly not valued, there's so much that goes, women, it's not that quality is not necessarily valued in women, right? Like if a woman does that same thing, it's like it is, there's a lot of pushback against that.
What about this young fella? how would he be someone that we value or society values as a real man?
He's really charismatic.
He's really charismatic. Okay. I agree.
I think he also chose roles that had him playing strong, powerful men and men who, like, I was thinking even back to the Fresh Prince, like he had his finger on the pulse of what was going on, and he was actually seeking to be an icon in a way. And yeah, and his charisma actually, I mean, brings him there, but he's, yeah, lots of roles in that.
He also presents himself as a really solid family man, which is admirable.
Every single time I do this, and it's not necessarily with Will Smith.
Howard, you sound like a robot.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you turn off your audio and then put it back on? We can continue the Will Smith conversation. He can hear us. Other comments about Will Smith? I was going to say, not only that he puts out a family man, he also puts out how much he supports his wife and other women as leaders, as business people, as actors. He, of all the men that we've seen so far, he's the only one that inspired in me a thought about how he lifts up women, especially women of color.
Am I still heading out? Okay. I'm trying to see how to
What if you turn off your video for a moment and then try talking to us? Like just your stop your video. It's usually in the lower left-hand corner. Is that the left, you guys? Oh, he's reconnecting.
How does that sound? Is that better?
No, it's still, and it's you just started doing it. It's weird.
I think if he leaves and comes.
All right. Well, while he's gone, any thoughts you all are having or questions that you want? I mean, we've got about 10 more minutes, and we can even be generating questions that he could answer, you know, post the recording on the event. What's coming up for y'all?
One thought that I was having through that whole kind of last activity of talking about different men is that my mind automatically went to negative qualities, which says a lot about my own bias towards men and my experience, I guess. But I find that really sad.
I was going to say, I think we were asked why society views these people as successful. And it made me think of, like, those aren't the reasons why I personally view them as a example of a man. You know, like, I value Bob Marley for the words and the wisdom that he said in his music, not because he was rich and because he had money and he was famous. That's what made him a man to me, because he was a builder of other men. He tried to, you know, make life a better place. So I think, like, even maybe for you too, Rita, or maybe not, that, you know, we were asked to think about that through the lens of society, not so much our own personal values. And a lot of the things that society put out there about men are negative things. That's the things that they value. Look at all the violent movies and films.
Thank you. I think he nice lead in, because if I said, hey, what do you think, to a group of middle school boys, it starts to become a debate, because someone will, I've put up like someone like Lil Wayne, and they'll be like, dumbest man on the face of the earth. And then the next kid would be like, no, I'm, and I do value your opinion, but let's look at like how society seems to, because the part that we want to look at is this. Let me see here. The main reason, can y'all see this?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am not the most technically sound, as you see.
You've been doing great, Howard.
Oh, thank you.
You've been popping back and forth. Not many people do that, so.
Susan, I think you have to make him co-host again.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Vanessa, thank you.
Okay, you
Thank
got
you.
it.
I'm just going to keep it here. And so this is the example that I show to young men about, there is a box that we're all put into, and all those boxes are based on what society deems valuable. If we ever try to step outside of that box, there's so many things that society does to shove us back in. So if we try to show weakness, then if we start to cry, it's considered weak. So therefore we don't cry, and it's not something that society values. It says here, being tough, athletic, strong, and courage. Those are things that we're supposed to show, but if I'm an athlete, and I think back to my times being an athlete, the part that really drew me to being an athlete are those times in the locker room, where maybe after a sporting event or whatever, we may have lost, and I'm in the locker room crying, and it may have looked something like this, where we're all around each other and we're feeling supported because of, we can truly be who we are. On the basketball court or on the baseball field, we can't do that. We can't do that because it's in front of a crowd. And so in intimate moments where men are together and they feel safe, it could look something like this, right? We start to become our truest, most authentic self. If we're talking about strength and what strength could look like, why couldn't it look like this? Why can't this be the new masculine narrative of what it's like to be strong? When it becomes when we think about fatherhood and manhood, why can't this be how we rediscover ourselves and how we can become like the best man we can be? And I'm hoping that instead of the narrative being the toxic masculinity part, I've heard some people now start to use the term tender masculinity as a counter narrative to the toxic. Because as you see, I look at this and I don't know anybody who doesn't want to be this kind of father, right? Who doesn't want to be this way at home. And when we talk about courage, this is what we talk about when we talk about courage: to be able to be yourself, in face of all those things. And not that this is coming out of the man box, but this is what's inside of the man box. This is who we are in our truest, most authentic self. And within the 2004 to now, the amount of young men that I've seen show their truest, authentic self in these multiple forms, for me, has been really moving, and still challenges me to move on and to be my most authentic self. We have 2 minutes. I have a closing exercise. If we can, I'm going to try to just boom, 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 go through it as fast as we can. I'm a big fan of hip hop. I went to go see Outkast. And when I went to go see Outkast, the last time it was in Milwaukee, Andre 3000 would be who I would consider my example of what manhood looks like. I'm from Georgia. I consider myself an AT alien. I consider myself to be a part of that same clan, that same group of folks that produced Andre 3000 and continue to live like in his kingdom, his like who he comes from. And so during that last tour, he had a jumpsuit. His jumpsuit said, "Eat a new thing each tour." What I did is I printed out some of the things that was on his jumpsuit on tour. In closing, as you think about this workshop, I just want to know, you can say what you can create your own jumpsuit, or you can, oh my goodness, this thing killed me. It's not, oh, okay, I got it. Okay, woo! It had all the, it had it. I know Vanessa was like, hey, Howard, she was going to help me. She was going to help me. She's my technological savior. So here is a list of things that he had on his jumpsuit. If you wanna put something else on your own jumpsuit, you can, but if we can, just as we exit this workshop, what would be on your jumpsuit? Just say it real quick and then pass it on. So we're going to think about it. You can read through. It says yin and yang, yin yang, F3000. I pray there's a God at the end of all of this. Life is short. Take more baths. Children of the cornbread. I've never been to Africa. Sorry, I forgot to call you back. Obviously oblivious. How good a friend are you? Big girls are beautiful to me. Fruit snack addict. You still on your pyramid. Cross country, darker people suffer most. Why? Okay, hand over the cure, stop playing. Art or fart. I've never had a Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Everything is temporary. Ninjas kill me. Breathe. Sloppy, wet, Poseidon, God or God. I love old people. Loners get lonely too. Narcissistic Americans thinking deeply about shallow-ish. Passionate about compassion and hider of pain. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of time. Did y'all get a chance to think about it? Does everybody have theirs? Yeah. So I'm just going based off of who's on my screen right here. Susan, can you start off just which one? You can just read it off. There doesn't need to be a reason behind it. Just what would be on your jumpsuit.
Am I naming one of his or am I coming up with something my own?
It's gonna be either one.
Oh, I thought of F fear, be brave.
You want to pass it on?
Oh, passing it on to Nate, who's next on my screen.
Mine would be, I was going to come up with my own, and I would say, I'm not sure about that. Let me get back to you. I'm going to popcorn to Rita.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. Mine would be, I didn't forget, I just didn't. And I'll pass on to Hillary.
Mine would be nap enthusiast. And I will pass it on to Pahua.
Mine would be hashtag boss. I don't know. Just I'm gonna pass it to Vanessa.
I'll pick how good a friend are you? And I'll pass it on to Bonnie.
Thanks, Vanessa. Mine is going to be go outside. And I will pass it on to Ayana.
Mine would be across country or across cultures, darker people suffer most. Why? I'll pass it on to Ian.
Mine would be thinking deeply about shallow-ish. I'll pass it to Alejandra.
I would go, I wrote in the chat because I thought we were putting it in the chat. Soy fuerte, soy capaz. Means I am strong and I am capable. I'll pass it to John.
Mine will be breathe. I'll pass it to Synovia.
I think mine would be, due to the pandemic, I will be turning the age of 23 again. Thank you. Who else hasn't gone? I'll call on Ben.
I was gonna think of like, because I was thinking of all these, and I heard this Kanye lyric in my head. What's a god to a non-believer? I'm gonna pass. Who's last? I think I'm like one of the, yeah. Okay, Tori, last up.
All right, mine would be loners get lonely too. Is that everybody? Is there anybody left?
Just Howard.
All right. Good.
I just wanted to, oh, it's so funny. I asked this question. I didn't even think, oh, mine would be, I've never been to Africa. So thank you. First of all, I guess before we head out, there's a standard question. Does anybody have any questions? I felt like I kind of flew through the exercises and flew through the stuff, but hopefully folks got an idea of what I do working with young men, and also tying it together into SEL. I probably needed another 25 minutes, but I tried to make sure that I had enough information to fit into an hour and a half. And I, just like I said, I probably overdid it and did it into 2 hours, but I do appreciate your input, because even though I've done this with young folks, one of the things that I really value, and I think it's important, is to recognize the value that you have and the importance that you play in your life. I know that sometimes what we do here sometimes seems as a burden, but recognize that, especially in times like this, that that just on the other side, you are, and it's true, y'all are there's someone out there in your classroom that you've come across and you are their blessing. And in our field, we really, really forget that. That there's some kid that you're gonna come across and they're gonna see you for your most authentic self, and the same thing's gonna happen in reverse. And the times that that happens, it is something that transcends any understanding, and make sure that during these times that that you don't miss out on it, because there's a lot of stuff going on around us that has us missing those opportunities. And it's important for us to grasp on to those and see them as what they genuinely are. And what they genuinely are to me is freeing. And I hope that y'all can grasp those moments too. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to process with you as well as do these exercises.